Sadnam. We are Jen and Ramthan from Heart Center Revolution.
Our intention with this podcast is to share the best of Kundalini Yoga and conscious living with you so you can live a more heart-centered life. Welcome to episode 11 of the Heart Centered Revolution podcast. In this episode, we complete our 2-episode Kundalini Yoga Q&A special set where we took questions from our classes, from Facebook, and from the listeners to our podcast. And at the end, we answer probably the most commonly asked question: where do you find Kundalini Yoga meditation music? Oftentimes when people go to classes, the music is the first thing that captures them. And there are some wonderful artists out there, so we talk a little bit about that at the end of this episode. Towards the end, I also will lead you through a pranayama practice like we've been doing for the first episodes. And I share with you again where you can sign up for our 10-day meditation experience. So the meditation we do for that experience is Kirtan Kriya, which is one of the most popular, and it's actually one of the most studied meditations in all of Kundalini Yoga. The scientific research they're doing on how this meditation helps patients with Alzheimer's, and they're just using it in a lot of different research studies, which is fascinating. But you don't need to read those research studies, just give it a try to see how it works for you. And I should mention that the 10-day meditation program is free. So you just sign up and you can get the videos. All right, we'll jump into the questions and I will be back at the end. So the first question for Q&A part 2 came from one of my classes. I had a student ask me about how Kundalini Yoga understands or kind of conceptualizes gender and transgender individuals. And I did some research. I wasn't able to find anything that explicitly speaks to that, but I can take some of the teachings of Kundalini Yoga and kind of piece together what makes sense to me. And so Kundalini Yoga does have a construct for male and female, and it does have an understanding that if you're living in a female body or in a male body, that there are distinctions. So as an example, women are understood to have 2 arc lines, one over our head and one from one nipple to the other nipple, while men have 1 arc line, the one around the head. Women have 6 tracts in their mind, and men have 1 tract. And then women have 11 moon centers, and men have 2 moon centers. And so because of these kind of physical and energetic differences that Kundalini Yoga understands that physical men and females have, some of the kriyas and meditations have specific mantras or eye gazes or things that you do if you're in a male body versus a female body. However, Kundalini Yoga also has a very strong understanding of masculine and feminine energies. And we learn that every human being has both masculine and feminine energies. And we also learn in these times that we're going through worldwide, we're trying to raise the feminine energy of the world. And so that's within a male body or within a female body. So if I take these teachings together, then it makes sense to me that within the Kundalini Yoga construct, for someone who's transgender, it would be understandable that you could be born into a male body and have that physiology going on. But if you're feminine to masculine balance weights towards feminine, that you might identify as female even though you're in a male body. So while it's not explicitly taught, it is kind of understood and is something that is accepted in the community. But beyond that, beyond gender or race or any of that, Kundalini sees people as human beings. It's the whole mantra is becoming more human, becoming a human being. And even when we take the oath to be teachers, in our oath, we say, I am not a woman, I am not a man, I am a teacher. And the goal of Kundalini Yoga is to make as many teachers as possible. And so it's this level of knowing who you are and accepting who you are, but also transcending who you are individually. I am a man, I am a woman, I am straight, I am this or that, I'm a therapist, I'm a husband, transcending these roles that we have and these experiences that we have so that we can become fully human. and recognize that human experience that we have within all of us, regardless of our differences. So that's my best guess as to the answer for that question, kind of piecing together from what I've learned and what I've experienced. So our next question for today's Q&A episode is asking, or someone saying that they've heard that relaxation in Kundalini Yoga is just as important as the activity, and wondering why that is.
So, relaxation, that's the first thing that Yogi Bhajan actually taught when he had the opportunity to teach his first class. And his words were to this extent that we as Westerners need to learn how to relax. Relaxation, kind of when we get to that part in the class, it allows us to, like, everything that we've done, all the exercises, the kriyas. When we relax, we allow the energy to naturally get distributed throughout the body. And I always say, when we do the kriyas, is for our physical body. When we do the meditation, is for the mind. When we relax, we are connecting to our soul. We allow the alignment between the mind, body, and soul now come in harmony. And therefore, we connect to that aspect of ourselves during relaxation. As we know, we may have heard from different means or different teachings that the way to connect to your higher consciousness is by relaxing. Every time you want to do any type of visualization, any type of meditation, anytime or energy healing of some sort, you have to relax your body, relax your mind. So in general, relaxation allows us to consolidate everything that we did during the class.
Yeah, and that's the deep relaxation does that for the whole class. But something that's unique to Kundalini that you don't see in other types of exercise or yoga is we take breaks between the exercise. So you'll do something for a minute, minute and a half, sometimes 3 minutes, and then you take a break and you relax so that you can consolidate each individual exercise before you move on to the next one. So the relaxation is where it's like your subconscious mind remembers what you did. Your body is able to accept the information or accept the energy shift that occurred during the exercise prior. The analogy or visualization I like to use that I think we actually also got from Guru Singh is that, the heartbeat. So the heart expends effort in order to expel blood outside of it, but then in order to fill itself up, it relaxes. And so by relaxing, you fill up, you allow the energy to come in rather than pushing and extending out. I also think that in our culture in Western society, we value activity, we value busyness, we value go, 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 go. So just by relaxation or relaxing, taking a moment to not do anything in a Kundalini Yoga class, it's like a good corrective experience. And just to remember that there is value in being quiet. There is value in being still. There is value in non-activity.
So much more than we know.
Yes, so much more than we know. And this is something I personally have to work on a lot, of not always being busy. Go, 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 go. All right, our next question is a comment and a question. And it says, I got so hot when I was led into Kundalini meditation. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just, every awareness, and that's why we call Kundalini Yoga of awareness. So you become aware of these changes that occur energetically within the body. So heat is energy, is a form of, how we experience energy as the energy intensifies within our body. So that awareness right there is something not to worry about, not to be of concern, but to be aware of. And knowing that is energy, you could transform it to anything else with your mental power, with your thoughts, and obviously with your prana, with the breathing techniques. So, and a lot of the kriyas do include those different type of breathing and meditations as well. But in the initial form, as we notice the energy increasing in our body, could be through a certain type of breathing exercise, or just mudras, or movement, or just sitting there and going deep within. We connect with that rise of energy, that intensifying of energy in different ways. Just like when we do energy work or healing, those who are, so to speak, giving the energy, they become aware of that movement and that energy in their body, or channeling the energy in different ways. Some people have colder hands, some people will feel the heat. So my answer to this question would be that obviously we're creating that heat from the tension, pressure, and stress that we put, and that we consciously put in our body. But that heat, it doesn't necessarily signify anything that something is wrong. Again, it depends on our physiology, as we learn from Ayurvedic teachings, that some of us have more element of fire, water, or earth that we connect to more. Could be something to that sort. But it's just energy. It's just energy, and you are becoming aware of it. That's something that you want to more focus on, and how you direct it, utilize it in a positive way. That's what's more important.
Yeah, like I get really hot during some specific meditations, like the meditation for prosperity. And I think for me, it was that I had some blockages, some energetic blocks. And so for me to do that meditation, I was moving a lot of energy that was stuck or just needed clearing. And so I would get hot and sweaty. For a basic meditation, it was not physically strenuous at all. And I would conceptualize it as this was a good thing. Like I'm strengthening some energetic pathways that I need to. So I'm feeling the heat, but also the fact that even if it's just a little bit of sweat, or kind of that opening of the pores on the skin that you can feel, that I'm releasing toxins. And so I know I feel intuitively for me that I get that way when I have toxins to release, and when I have energy that I need shifted. But that's my personal experience. Someone else might, see colors, or experience dizziness, or maybe nausea, or just be really tired. We have different manifestations of the same experiences because we're all unique human beings.
And you could also say that could be part of a healing process. Just when we become aware, when we start any type of practice, and as we connect to our higher consciousness, that energy source knows what was best for us, and it works. Works the physical system and the energetic system, the emotional system, in a way to release whatever we need to release. Just like Jen said, through sweating, releasing toxins, or emotionally, or in a way of, transforming energy into a certain different intensified energy as we relate to as heat, cold, or anything else, on the path of releasing and letting go, and building our the nervous and the glandular system, strengthening the system to create a new consciousness within our physical body, mental body, and emotional body.
Yeah, it's like this example of feeling heat. It's like you're gaining purity through fire, and it's a metaphorical fire, so to speak, but it still creates heat, or it's an energetic fire, but it still creates the sensation of heat in the body. For our fourth question, it actually comes from Fancy in Portland. She sent us a lovely message. Thank you, Fancy. And 2 questions about drishti, or eye gaze. One question is stating that during some kriyas, the teacher had directed her to look at the crown chakra, and then later on would just say gaze up. And so she was confused as to whether, after you've focused at the crown chakra a few times, if someone says focus the gaze or gaze up, is that referencing, should you go back to the crown chakra like you were before, or should you go to the third eye? And I would say it's usually the default to look at the third eye. So when a teacher says gaze up, Preferably, they would specify whether it's the third eye or the crown chakra, especially if you've been moving between the two. But the default is the third eye. So if they don't specify, then you can go with the third eye. But if you have a teacher who regularly does that, please reach out to them, or you can ask them, after class, or if you work with them online, you can shoot them an email, because it might be good feedback for them too, to know that they're not being clear for their students. Another question from Fancy, or the follow-up question, was that when she looks at the tip of her nose, she says she can only see with one eye at a time, that if she uses both eyes, she'll go cross-eyed or she'll see two images. So just to back up a little bit, sometimes our eye gaze in Kundalini Yoga is with the eyelids 1/10 open, and then they say to look at your nose. But I think for most of us, you would look just a little past the nose. Or some exercises are past the nose and some exercises are at the nose. So if you do this, your eyes will cross and you'll get double vision, and that's normal. That's what the eye gaze is. You're not actually trying to see your nose in focus. You're just gazing in that direction. And by doing that, it helps to balance your optic nerve, which stimulates the pineal gland and the frontal lobe. And the last question for this episode is, I love Kundalini Yoga music. How do I learn more about it, and where can I find it?
Well, I find the music that I need, the Kundalini Yoga music, in Jen's phone.
I'm definitely the keeper of the music in this relationship.
Yes. But on a serious note, the website that I like to use is Spirit Voyage. And you could learn more about the meaning of the mantras and what they're used for, what the intentions are, and more. So that's a great website to go to, www.spiritvoyage.com. And you, of course, could find most of the music and most of the songs and the artists at iTunes. You could listen to Pandora, and learn as they play, and just create a Kundalini Yoga station, and when they play the music, you could look it up and see if you like the music, who the artist is, what the name of the song is, and also Jen's favorite, Spotify.
Yes.
Yeah, you could go through there. So, and anytime if you hear a certain mantra, or that your ear catches you, you could Google it, and YouTube also. Yes, YouTube has most of the mantras and the artists on there as well.
Yes, they do. I personally don't like listening to music on YouTube though, because the sound to me is bad. But anyways, that's my personal preference. But if you're not sure where to even begin, like you've been to a couple of classes, 3 of our favorite artists are Sanatam Kaur, Icona, and Guru Nam Singh. So I'll put links to their websites in the show notes. So if you go to heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 11, you can have links. But in case you can remember, it's Sanatam, SNATAMKAUR.com, Icona.com, AYKANNA.com, and Guru Nam Singh, GURUNAMSINGH.com. So those are kind of, if you're not sure where to start, you can start with those 3 artists. Sanatam is by far and away the most popular. She's kind of broken through to mainstream a little bit. And she's the one, if you're going to start a Pandora playlist, I would do a Sanatam Kaur playlist. And that'll get you mostly Kundalini Yoga music.
But there are many, many other awesome Kundalini Yoga singers and artists.
Yeah, there's so many. It's definitely a rabbit hole. I just created a playlist of all the mantra music I could find on Apple Music, and I think it would go for 5.5 days if I just push play and let it run.
We also have to mention Guru Singh.
Oh yes, of course, Guru Singh, GURUSINGH. He's one of our favorite teachers, probably our favorite living teacher.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, he's amazing. Okay, thank you so much. That is it for our very special Q&A, Kundalini Yoga Q&A episodes of our podcast. I'm sure that we'll come around and do something like this again in the future, so don't hesitate to send us your questions now. we can keep them and, do it every few months or so if there are enough questions. But now we're going to transition into our pranayama. And the breathing practice we're going to do today is a pranayama to boost your immune system. This episode will publish in the beginning of December. People are getting sick. It might be a good opportunity to strengthen your immune system with a breathing exercise. So let's begin by getting settled. As always, if you're driving or walking, you won't close your eyes or sit down. But for those of us who can, sit, ground your sit bones either into the ground or the chair. Lift up your heart center, shoulders up, back and down. Chin gently tucked down and back. Feel your spine long. Let's take a couple of regular deep breaths together. Eyes are closed. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Inhaling deeply. And exhaling completely. Let's do one more. Inhaling deeply. Exhaling completely. Beautiful. You can have your hands folded in your lap or in Gyan Mudra. Check your posture, making sure your heart remains lifted, shoulders down, chin gently tucked, spine is long. For this pranayama, we're going to stick our tongue all the way out. So stick it out as far as it can go, and then you're going to rapidly breathe in and out through your mouth. This is called dog breath. And so, obviously you'll feel and resemble a dog panting somewhat. So you're going to continue this panting breath for 3 minutes. So have the pant come from your navel or the above your navel from your diaphragm. So it'll sound like this. So tongues out. So keep up that panting breath. Continue with this breath. The tongue is out. If it gets hard for you to maintain, slow the breath down. The breath should be rapid, but only as rapid as you can do right now. Remember to have the breath come from your navel, from your diaphragm. Keep it up. It says this is a very healing exercise. When you feel a tingling in your toes, thighs, and lower back, that is an indication that you are doing it correctly. If you're doing it more rapidly, it may sound like this. Whatever pace works for you, just maintain that pace. Eyes closed, focused at the third eye. This exercise brings energy to your immune system and can help your body fight infection. The breath is in and out through the mouth, over the tongue while the tongue is extended. Keep it up. You can and have a sense of humor about how you might look or how you might sound. That works well for yoga. Laughing at yourself is always good. We're almost there, just 10 more seconds. Bring some intensity back to your breath. Beautiful. Inhale. Suspend your breath. Press your tongue against your upper palate. Exhale. Inhale again. Suspend the breath, tongue against the upper palate. Exhale. One more breath. Inhale deeply. Tongue against the upper palate. Exhale. Relax the breath. Relax the face. Relax the eyes. Just take a few breaths here, bringing your attention to your mental, emotional, and spiritual state of being. Has there been a shift with just 3 minutes of pranayama to boost your immune system, or dog breath? And when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Wonderful. Thank you for joining me in that pranayama. If you visit our website, heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 11, you can see the show notes for this episode, including links on how you can sign up for our 10 days of Kirtan Kriya. When you sign up, you will get a guided meditation, but you'll also get a separate video that explains the meditation in detail. Kirtan Kriya is one of the most beloved meditations, the most widely taught and studied meditations in all of Kundalini Yoga. But it does include an eye gaze and a visualization and a mantra. And we manipulate the mantra with different voices. And it can seem complicated if you don't have each piece explained. So when you sign up, you get a video explaining exactly how to do it. And then for 10 days in a row, you will get a guided Kirtan Kriya meditation delivered to you each morning. And each video is different. We recorded 10 separate meditations because everyone has its own vibe, and it's kind of boring to hear the same exact recording every day for 10 days. So you can sign up for that if you are so inclined at heartcenteredrevolution.com/episode 11. And if not, just subscribe to the podcast on whatever medium you like. We're available on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And that's it for this episode. We love you, and may the longtime sun shine upon you. Sat Nam.